Hello everyone. In this slide, I will be covering the organization-wide defaults topic. So this slide is a foundation for the entire Salesforce security model. So I cannot stress this enough, like how important it is to get the OWD correct because everything that we build will be wrong if we get the OWD incorrect. So configuring the organization-wide defaults is very important. So let's get started. So what is OWD? So it's basically answers the one question like it what is the baseline level of access that any user has to any record which they don't own. So OWD is something like which is at a very baseline level, which is at very bottom level where we can also say it's a starting point and everything else in the sharing model is built upward from here. So OWD, in short, you can say it's a baseline access of objects to the users. So there are possibly many settings in OWD which defines the access on a particular object. In the slide, you can see there are four particular settings which are defined. First is the private, second is public read only, public read write, and controlled by parent. So first we will cover what is private. So private means only the record owner and anyone above them uh, in the role hierarchy can see and edit the record. Let's say, for example, I own an opportunity record, and for that opportunity, that OWD is private. So, anyone, so let's say my colleague uh, who cannot see the record. So, if I create this record, the it will not be available to other user unless I share with them or if they are above me in the role hierarchy. So this is pretty much about the private setting. Then comes the public read-only setting. So public read-only means everyone in the org can find and view the record, but only the owner or the users who are above them in the hierarchy can make changes. So it gives some access to objects unlike private setting. Then comes the public read write setting, which means that any user can view and edit the record. Note that in this setting only the owner can delete the record. So in public read write, anyone can edit and view the record, but only its owner can delete the record. And the final one is the control by parent setting. So control by parent setting is used on the child objects in the master detail relationship, and the child record access is simply inherits whatever the parent record can access it. So when you specify any object with control by parent OWD, whatever the access its master record have, let's say is its master can edit and view account sorry edit and view any record, then the same access will be shared by the child record on which this setting is applied. So at the bottom of the slide you can see there is a line mentioned about rule of thumb. So when you create OWD settings or when you configure OWD settings, it is a general it is the most important principle in Salesforce administration that we always start with the most restrictive OWD. So, like I said, private is the most restrictive one, and then we deliberately open up the access using other sharing model mechanisms like role hierarchy, sharing rules, all or by manual sharing. So, while setting up any objects, always use the most restrictive setting and open up access via other settings. So this was all about the OWD. Now I will go in the Salesforce org and show you how uh, how to access the organization wide defaults. Let me navigate to Salesforce org. Okay, so I'm in the org now. So to access to access the OWD settings or to check the OWD settings of other object, we need to go in setup. In setup, we need to search for sharing settings. So as you can see, the first uh, uh, this tab specifies the organization-wide default. So these are the default sharing setting for the list of objects. You can see the list of objects with internal, external access and grant access using hierarchy. So there are so I will explain what internal and external access is. But you can see all the objects which are in our Salesforce org. So all are mentioned here, and the baseline level for each object has been specified from the sharing setting organization-wide default. So you can see the first one is the default internal access. So default internal access specifies the access to object for internal users who are in the or who are present in the org, while default external access specifies the baseline access of object for external or partner community users, you can say. Yeah, so external access is for community users and internal is for the internal Salesforce org users. So you can see all the list are mentioned, and grant hierarchies is something uh, like when you want to disable automatic access using hierarchies for custom object, then in that case you need to disable this setting. You can only deselect this setting for custom objects that don't have access of controlled by parent. So this was pretty much about the organization wide default. So in the last video, I created one custom object called project and project assignments. So you can see the project assignment has public read-write access and project has public read-write access and project assignment as controlled by parent. As project is the master record, whatever the access project has, the same level of baseline access project assignment will also have. So this is one thing about OWD. I will try to do one thing. I will give project very baseline access. I will go ahead and edit the project record. I will change the default internal access and external access as private. And I will also do one thing. I will deselect this checkbox and so this checkbox is the grant access using hierarchies. So I will deselect this and I will give the most restrictive access to project and I will click save. So on saving or doing any changes in OWD, you need to note one thing when you change the OWD settings, the sharing recalculation applies and the access changes to your the sharing recalculation applies to the access changes to the records. Like if you have a lot of data, then the update can take longer. So once this recalculation completes, you will receive a mail like it is completed. So this is pretty much about the sharing setting. So yeah, so right now I don't see any update over here, but once the sharing recalculation completes, the OWD for project will get updated. Like you can see, the OWD for project changed from private, and we didn't change anything for project assignment. So it's by default controlled by parent as it's a master detail relationship. So this was pretty much about the organization-wide defaults. I hope this video helps.
Thanks for watching Salesforce Unlocked. If you found this helpful, stay tuned for more Salesforce tips and tutorials. See you in the next video.